Okay, so let's have our TA session 7, and we're going to continue with understanding stroking today and strokes. Last time we spoke about how every transaction can be a loving one and how we need to work with it. We also spoke about defining a stroke, which is a unit of recognition. And then we also spoke about the worst form of punishment, and that we said is actually when a person is in solitary confinement. We also spoke about how individuals, when they are in solitary confinement, what they miss the most is touch. And then we had a long discussion on touch itself. Then I shared with you Renee Spitz's research, which happened in 1945, where children were deprived of physical stimulation and how they sunk into decline and actually became depressed. And Eric Berne described this as stimulus hunger. And then we spoke a lot about stimulus hunger and recognition hunger that goes along with it. And we grow and develop. Our stimulus hunger develops and is partially transferred to a psychological version, which Berne describes as recognition hunger. I mean, we are not really unfamiliar with what is happening today with recognition, which is actually camouflaged by the crazy Instagram culture, the consumeristic culture that seems to be there, where people have misunderstood what is actually recognition. And it's all about getting a few likes and more likes, to an extent that people are doing things which are not ethical in nature. Now let us understand the transaction. Any transaction provides a person with either recognition or stimulation. Now, the stimulation or recognition can be positive or negative. Now, what is stroke hunger? Why are we so hungry? So the key idea is that people hunger for recognition, and those lacking positive strokes will seek whatever kind they can, even if it is recognition of a negative kind. We test out as children what strategies and behaviors seem to get us strokes of whatever kind we can get. Now let's think very carefully about the statement. People seek out whatever kind they can, even if it is recognition of a negative kind. Now just think of your childhood and the strategies that you all used when you all were children. Were you all using strategies which got you strokes, but of the negative kind? Just think of your childhood. And has that actually continued into your adulthood? Are you still having strategies to get recognition, but actually of the negative kind? Anybody would like to share? It becomes a strategy. Initially, it's just like you feel good about the fact that somebody's attending to you, maybe shouting at you, yelling at you, maybe hitting you. And then you feel at least this person is looking at me. Remember, we spoke about looking and seeing. So this person is at least looking at me. He knows I exist. Just for that, we have strategies which are actually of a negative kind, because we have this hunger of somebody giving you attention. And that is how this attention-seeking word has come. So anybody would want to share as to how we seek attention of the negative kind? Like I said, the negative attention would be yelling, shouting, hitting, abusing, foul language, not paying attention to you. That is also, you will do something, and the person is not paying attention, so you do something and then the person pays attention to you. Anybody?
Ma'am, I can share.
Yeah.
So in my family, my mom-in-law, she's quite old, but her way of getting attention is health issues. So
Hmm.
she'll always be saying, this is hurting, that is hurting.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's intentional.
Hmm.
And when she does that, she knows she can get attention. Or she'll
Correct.
pop some extra sleeping pills so that
Correct.
she can get attention.
Correct. And then the attention that you give is what?
We take care of her and ask what happened. But I realize that nobody is able to identify the core issues, but that has been patterned throughout her life.
Correct. So I want you to think of her and the kind of hunger that she has, like the stimulus hunger. As a young person, whether she was attended to in a positive manner, whether she got appreciation for things that she did, maybe her skill, her talent, or she didn't get it.
Yeah, probably it's attention for love and approval from others,
Correct. Absolutely
acceptance.
correct. So now
Yeah,
this became a strategy.
yes.
Every
Till,
time I get pain,
yeah,
somebody attends to me. Every time I fall down, somebody comes and helps me. Every time I feel helpless and I behave in a helpless manner, somebody will come and give me approval or appreciation or love, or even touch me for that matter. So,
yeah.
absolutely right. So, this is how we seek recognition of a negative kind. Anybody else? Thank you, Neelam, for sharing.
Me?
Anybody else? Yeah,
Can I share?
Dominic. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, yesterday I received again some WhatsApp messages from my mother inventing all kinds of things that triggers a lot of things in me. I thought I thought I was healed totally, but it
Mm,
triggers. I don't know
mm,
whether to block her. I don't know what, it's like that kind of situation. I know she's seeking attention, and
mm,
I just don't know how to handle that part.
mm. So right? You
Love.
know that she is
Yeah.
seeking attention. Okay.
Yes.
And you know that the way that she is seeking attention is not appropriate for her, not for you, but for her, because she's caught in this loop of
Yeah.
seeking negative attention. So you need to stop giving her that so that she gets out of the loop. How long it will take for her to break this hunger, we don't know. But at least you are aware that you are not going to give her attention when she does this. But if she possibly sends you a loving, caring, affectionate message, you will give her double the attention. Now, she actually has to be taught how to send a positive message.
So how do you teach her that?
Yeah, correct. So now the fact is, how do you teach her that? So you can, when she sends you this kind of message, you can just tell her, Mommy, can you tell me something happy that happened today? So you coach
Okay.
her. You'll have to coach her that I'm not going to respond to this message, but
Hmm.
instead I'm asking you if something happy happened today. So now she has to think about what happy moment happened today. So actually, you're coaching her to move from the mind that is seeking negative attention to a mind that is thinking of something positive.
Okay. So after the negative message, she sent me a message saying, "Oh, I love the photo you put in the WhatsApp thing." I would.
Wonderful. So now
So
that requires a positive stroke.
okay. So
That,
I answer to that one then.
yes, absolutely. So you answer to that and you ignore the first.
Okay.
To answer the
Great.
second one by sending possibly a photograph of you and her in a happy frame of mind.
Morning.
Dominic, are you
Okay.
getting it? You send a
Yeah.
photograph with you and her in a positive frame of mind, in a happy state.
Okay.
So what?
I have
So
to find it, but yes. Okay.
yeah, because what she has done is complimented you.
Yes.
Now, what you need to do is compliment her as a mother.
By showing her a positive.
A positive photo with you,
Okay.
right? So now she sees you and she sees her.
Okay, even if it's when we were when I was a baby or
Younger.
whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
You can send her a photograph when you were younger and say, "Mom, I love you so much since I was 2 years old."
Okay.
Suppose your photo is of you being 2 years and she being younger. Okay. So you can
Yes.
send her that. I love you so much since I was 2 years old. Now, when she sees that photo, she goes back in kind of flashback. And all the positive things that possibly she did when she was younger and you were a baby, and all those memories will start coming to her.
Okay.
See, Dominic, we have to encourage your mother to recall happy memories.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something you can do with her.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay. Everybody's understanding with the two sharing Neelam and Dominic did how people crave for strokes. Okay. So it's our duty to respond in such a manner that the opposite person actually is stroked in a positive manner, so that the strategy that person is using to get strokes of the negative kind reduces. That's all. So we have to become a little aware, okay, when we can do this. Now let's look at this lovely little slide. Nothing really takes the place of loving touch.
Ma'am, slide is not being shown properly. So only first slide we can see.
Oh, sorry.
Your stroking needs.
I'll do it again then. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because the slides are very important. Okay. Slide. Okay, hold on. Huh? I don't know why it's not being shown. Okay. Now.
No. Yeah, now it is okay.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, so the previous slide was this one. You can see this one?
Yes.
Yeah, a key idea in that is that people hunger for recognition, and those lacking positive strokes will seek whatever kind they can, even if it is recognition of a negative kind, which we just discussed. We test out as children what strategies and behaviors seem to get us strokes of whatever kind we can get. So basically, as children, the stroking pattern starts forming when we are children only. If we are appreciated for our things, then we want to do those things more. If we are not appreciated, then we want the stroke from our parents, then we'll behave in a manner that is inappropriate, and then we get recognition of the negative kind. Like I said, people yelling, shouting, screaming at us, or sending us foul messages is also a way of getting strokes. So just we have to just be a little careful how we are getting strokes. The next slide. Can you all see the next slide with the two small children? Shakuntala?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So just to let you know, there are many people in lots of abusive kind of relationships, whether with their spouse or with their parents or with their partner or siblings. They want love, but they are possibly getting a lot of like yelling and shouting from their loved ones, and they continue to behave in a manner where they continue getting shouting from the others. And when you speak to them, they will say, I know my father loves me. This is his way of showing affection. They'll say like that. This is his way of showing affection. But I know my father loves me. Now, the father could be hitting you also. And you'll continue to be in that abusive kind of relationship. Why? Because you think that's love for my father. My father shows love like this only. Because after he hits you, he turns around and says, Beta, I'm so sorry. मुझे नहीं करना चाहिए था, but beta, I love you so much. Can you see the conflicting messages that goes into the mind of the person, of the child? She equates love to being hit. And then what happens as she grows older? She has a boyfriend. Boyfriend hits her or slaps her, and she says, oh, that's okay. Even my dad used to do that. But my dad loves me. So maybe this guy loves me too. And that's how these films are made, Kabir Khan type films. Where the boy is abusing, but the girl continues to stick on to him. So these are messages that are going to indicate that maybe that's love, or that's the kind of stroking that I need. So touch, a pat on the shoulder, a caress on the cheek or a hair, a hug, a kiss, a back rub, a massage are samples of touch strokes. So in these kind of abusive relationships of any kind, these things are also done. These kind of touch strokes are also given. And the negative kind is also given. So now obviously the person who's receiving gets confused whether what is really love. And then slowly, as this relationship kind of moves, at one point, people do realize that this is not what I want. And there are some people who don't realize it, and then they get caught in that mess. So what are the common concepts? Why are strokes given? Can you tell me why strokes are given? I put some of the concepts here. See here. Contact. The most important reason why we get strokes is we need contact. Second, attachment. We are attached to our loved ones, right? So we continue stroking each other. Intimacy is very important where strokes are concerned. When you have positive strokes, intimacy increases in a positive manner. When you have negative strokes, then intimacy takes a backseat. Warmth, very important. Strokes are given and received because we feel warm, we feel loved. Tender, loving care, like with children, with geriatric patients, we require, it is an expression of tender, loving care. The sense, the need to belong. When we are stroked, we feel we belong. And to belong is one of the biggest needs of humans. We like to belong somewhere. It could be a place, a person, a family, a job situation. There are people who never give up a job for 40 years. They are loyalists. They stay there because they feel that that place is where a sense of belonging, and belonging is related to identity. So sometimes we continue serving in a place because that place gives us a sense of identity. So need to belong is huge, one of the biggest needs we have. Closeness. We give and receive strokes because of closeness. We feel close to that person. Then relationships survive on strokes. Whether it's negative or positive, relationships survive where there are strokes. Social support. We all support each other and we give each other strokes, even in our group like Thinking Thursday. There are so many people giving each other strokes. And that's one of the ways that social platforms survive. And then, of course, love. When there are positive strokes moving between two or more people, it becomes an expression of love. So these are some of the reasons why strokes are so important. And as you can see, contact, attachment, intimacy, closeness, need to belong, identity, all this is vital. It's like prana for all of us, and that's one of the reasons that strokes are received and given. Now let us look at something very interesting, some scientific experiments on strokes that have been done. Last time I showed you that video of the orphanage where the mother was told to move away from the infant for at least 6 weeks to 3 months. And what was the result of that experiment that we did not discuss then? So babies, Dr. Harlow and Dr. Spitz conducted studies on infants in European Orphanage, the film that you saw last time. Babies who were not touched, cuddled, nor held and stroked soon became withdrawn and lifeless. Their spinal cord got shriveled up. Stimulation is needed for living. It is called stimulus hunger and stroking or recognition. Now, can you imagine this? A baby's spinal cord gets shriveled up because this baby is not touched or cuddled or held. The kind of effect it has on the physiology of that child. That's how important strokes are. Let's look at another interesting experiment that was done. I hope you can continue seeing the slides. Thumbs up? Okay. Look at this interesting experiment, okay? The rats, as you know, poor rats are our experimental guinea pig. So one group, so there were two groups that, as you know, in experiments, we always have a control group and an experimental group. Now, one of the groups was given electric shocks several times a day. Can you see this thing here? This experimental box here, okay? So one group of rats was given electric shock several times a day, and the other groups were not given a shock. Two sets of baby rats were kept in identical boxes. So there were identical boxes in which these baby rats were kept. Now, what was discovered was interesting. The group receiving shocks developed better than those left without this stimulation. Painful as it was, mice reared in a cage with barbed wires became stronger. So solitary confinement is 0 strokes. A person who is inside a box getting electric shocks is still getting negative strokes. But the set of rabbits or the set of rats in another box, which were getting nothing. They were not getting strokes. They were not being touched, not being held, not even getting shocks. They did not develop as well as those rats getting painful electric shocks. Does this shock you? Does this shock you?
Yes.
Can you think why this is happening? What is wrong? Or rather, what is going on with human beings? Can you give an example from your own life or whatever you've heard, read?
वो लोनलीनेस वाला सीन आ जाएगा. सॉलिट्यूड सीखा नहीं, लोनलीनेस है.
अकेलापन
Yeah.
क्या होता है वो उन्होंने सीखा नहीं. ओके, सॉलिटरीनेस नहीं सीखी उन्होंने लोनलीनेस महसूस की होगी. That is the reason possibly they did not develop well. But these rats getting electric shocks at least felt somebody is there who is stimulating me. Though it's painful, but I'm still being attended to.
There is recognition.
Still being attended to. And that's where the negative recognition comes in.
But sometimes this pain also makes the person lonely, like start staying aloof from the people who are around you.
Yeah, that is if the pain becomes intense, then I'm sure the person, the human being, would feel I need to go away from this person. But Maya, imagine the pain has to become intense for this person to think I want to go away. So how many years this person would have waited for the pain to become intense? Can you think of that?
And then take a decision to move away.
But then by the time the decision is being taken, isn't this person broken enough?
Yes, completely.
Correct. So can you see what will happen even if this rat is continuously given shocks? Initially, the rat may feel he's attended to. But if the shocks continue, what will happen to this rat? It will die, right?
It will die, and in the long run, it will be a negative impact in spect of a positive one.
Correct. So
Not
I think the thing to understand from this experiment is if you are on the receiving end of getting pain, it's better to wake up now than later. Because as the intensity of physical pain increases, emotional pain will also increase. And when that emotional pain increases, see, there is a remedy for physical pain. You can hit back. There is a remedy. कोई मुझे मार रहा है, मैं भी डंडा लेके उसे मार सकती हूँ. कोई somebody shouting at me, I can shout back. I can still react. But when the emotional pain increases, then like you rightly said, Maya, you become withdrawn, and then there is no energy left for you to even shout back. Correct?
And then you just feel like staying away from the person.
Correct. So that's
you be in your world, let me be in my world, something like that.
So that's when actually suicides happen.
Yes.
Yeah, when there is no way out.
Ma'am, sometimes people get habituated to receive these emotional
Correct.
hurt.
Correct, Ambika.
They think this is the way of life.
Ah, right. So if that becomes a way of life, then what happens? So there is shock on Monday and there is shock on Wednesday. But Tuesday, there is this, the husband or wife is taken out to a party. Wednesday, again, one shock is given. Then Thursday and Friday, the person is calm, and now you make something nice for that person. So that person begins to be good to you. This is what
we'll
happens.
get you good clothes, good jewelry, something, like make you so बेचारा टाइप के भाई मैं तुम्हारे लिए तो कर रहा हूँ गुस्सा होता है तो क्या हो गया like something like that.
मैं तो मेहनत कर रहा हूँ तुम्हारे लिए मैं इतनी लेट नाइट्स कर रहा हूँ तुम्हारे लिए तो why are you getting so upset if I actually forgot your birthday it's no big deal tomorrow we'll go for a birthday party right so this is called compromise adjustment is good till a point but when adjustment becomes abuse you must wake up. Otherwise, like this rat, you will continue getting shocks. And then one fine day, obviously, like Maya rightly said, you will become lonely and the end. Let's look at another interesting experiment of Susie. Yes.
Sorry. So when we are talking about, realizing that you are in an abusive or, relationship, but when we are talking about the strokes that we've experienced in the childhood, if you have not actually experienced that positive stroke, then it's very difficult for a person to differentiate that, or even understand that they are in a hollow or emotionally, hollow relationship or abusive relationship because there is nothing to compare their emotion with, right? So I think that will create a
Yes, absolutely. So Amruta, that is where the psychologist questioning comes in, right? So when the client is, let us say the client has come with all these problems, then you need to ask the client about, can you tell me a happy moment in your life? The client may say, I can't recall a happy moment in your life. And that's when you give the client clues and say, tell me, what are you good at? And the client may say, yeah, in school, I used to be good at, let's say, an embroidery or dancing. And say, okay, can you talk a little bit about this dancing or embroidery or whatever that you used to do? And now when the client talks about something happy, we need to look at the client's face. It will register a different face than what she came in with, right? And then you can ask her to talk more about these happy memories, allow these happy memories to come up, and ask the client what made them happy. Just because you had talent or skill, or did somebody appreciate you? And that's when the client will tell you that my teacher appreciated me, or actually I remember I got good grades in it. And like my mom and dad did look at it and say, oh, you're good at this, huh? But what's the point of being good at craft? Okay, so in a way, appreciation did come. It's called what we call a counterfeit stroke. We will talk about it now. Okay, so
Okay.
what is a counterfeit stroke? Person says something positive and then says something negative in the same breath. So if somebody, it is not possible that a human being has never experienced a positive stroke, but maybe the person has just forgotten, right? It's so down below, underwater, that she can't even understand whether it was positive, first of all. Like you rightly said, she can't differentiate. Oh, was that a positive stroke? She can't differentiate, right? So then it becomes our duty to bring this thing forward so she understands that, yes, she has experienced a positive stroke. Now, she automatically will compare it to what is happening in her life today. And then she'll say, yeah, I want more of that. And then you can make a breakthrough as to, okay, now at least she understands to distinguish between the two. So sometimes initially, this kind of work needs to be done with clients who have come to you with, let's say, depression. Okay, but good question. All right, so now let's move ahead. Another very interesting experiment on maternal deprivation syndrome. It's a very interesting case of Susie. So Susie was 22 months old, not able to walk. She was 22 months old, not able to walk. She had low weight, not able to even crawl. While sitting, the child swung like a pendulum, like, children who rock, uh, children who rock a lot. Susie's mother complained to the doctor that I'm fed up with this child. What can I do? Like the mother was fed up with this child. She said, I don't know what to do with this child. I need help. So what was the help that was given to this baby was a woman, like a surrogate, okay? A woman with a motherly body structure. This is what's mentioned in the experiment, okay? A woman with a motherly body structure who showed love and affection to children was selected. 7 hours of care daily was given by playing with the child and looking after it with tender care. The hired mother played with Susie, touched the child, caressed her, kissed her, and fed her with great love. Susie improved and started walking and responding in a short span of 3 months. When you listen to this, what does it make you feel?
Means earlier when she was not taking care at all.
She was unable to manage this baby. Maybe she herself was deprived of love. Maybe she didn't know how to caress, how much to touch, how much to stroke, when the baby starts crying. There are many mothers, when the baby starts crying, instead of holding the baby and feeding the baby with a bottle, they will just put the bottle in the baby's mouth, put the hands of the baby around the bottle, and ask the baby to suck. But what the baby requires is not that. Baby requires that the mother holds the baby in her arms, then maybe sings to the baby, holds the baby while the baby is suckling or sucking at the bottle. So, how important touch is. In 3 months, this baby started walking, all because of this hired mother. So it's very important. The baby requires that kind of warmth And cushioning is very interesting. Motherly body structure. So somebody who must have been, like big, where the baby felt cushioned. Can you understand? Softness. Huh? Softness. And then the baby felt cushioned, and then the baby actually recovered completely. So it's very important, if you have little babies in your home, see to it that the baby is held. Now, I don't have to say much about how important touch is. Now, let's look at another very interesting experiment with monkeys. So we saw monkeys experiment with rats, and now we are seeing experiment with monkeys. Now, in another interesting experiment with monkeys, again done by Dr. Harry Harlot and Margaret Harlot. So one set of monkeys, so that there were 3 sets of monkeys, okay? One set of monkeys was allowed to grow with the mother. That is this, right? Mother and the baby. Another set of monkeys were without the mother, but they had a bottle, a soft little, like a teddy, what should I say, like a soft toy of a monkey was put up here. There was this, okay, and then was a bottle that was given, that was put here, and the monkey could go, and when the monkey felt hungry, he would take milk from the bottle. Okay, so there was something soft that the monkey could hold on to. Now, the third set of monkeys was allowed to drink from bottles without mother, and frequent shocks were given to them. So this is that shock receptacle in which this monkey was there, and the monkey had a bottle, so he could drink drink milk, but there was no softness. Instead, there were these barbed wires through which electric shock was given. So what do you think happened with these monkeys? Can you all guess as to how they grew up? Any problems that they could have faced? Anybody? The first, growing with the mother. So I think they
Must be very
socially
best ideal situation.
Ideal situations. So socially, they're able to relate to people. They know how to behave. They feel comforted, and they are quite balanced. So this is the ideal situation. What could have happened to this monkey, who had something to hold
little
on
compromise.
to, and
Yeah,
he
little
he's not
compromised.
mommy, huh?
Neediness.
Little compromised, probably.
So what the monkey could feel?
Maybe not very much able to handle the stress as good as what the the monkey with the mother would in the
Okay.
life.
Okay.
So little
So
more resilient, but
resilient,
still not
okay.
that much.
Little bit better, more resilient, not able to handle intense stress, but maybe.
Although he was fed, he or she, they were fed nutritious, for the survival. I think the growth might be hampered because of the monkey is not getting the external stimulus or warmth. So it might, if you compare them physically, their growth chart, the growth might be different between these two.
Correct. So the growth is going to get affected and the development will be compromised.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And what about the third monkey who was just given shocks?
Even they will be more aggressive.
Yes. Who?
Aggression will be like the last one would be for sure, but even the second one, there will be more aggressiveness to them in their behaviors.
Right, correct. So they could have some personality related issues, right? Okay. So let's see the results of this. Yeah. So case 1, monkeys behaved socially. So the social interaction was good. The ones who grew up with the mother. In the second case study, the monkey preferred to live separately in isolation because there was no interaction, no? There was no real mother. So like I gave the example of a baby just being given the bottle. So now this baby is going to talk to himself because the mother is not talking to the baby, right? So the baby may make sound, maybe talk to himself, maybe rock a little bit, because the child in isolation requires some stimulation. So then it is self-stimulation. So the case study 2, the monkeys preferred to live separately in isolation because they had to self-stimulate themselves. And the third, with the wire or the shock that was given to them, the monkeys developed emotional dysfunction related to frustration. They were extremely frustrated. So now think of human beings. Human beings in the second situation, where they are in a family, but they are not being attended to in the way they want it. So what do these children do? They go into their rooms, isolate themselves, and they stimulate themselves, right? By watching social media. Yes. This is how social media addiction has increased. Because everybody needs contact. So when there is no human contact, they will have media contact. But actually, they are living in isolation, okay, in their own minds. And that is where the rise of teenage suicides. Okay. Third, are those people who are getting negative stroking, they develop emotional dysfunction, become stressed and frustrated and angry, and may actually do harm to themselves or go completely crazy. So, well, the next experiment, as we've already spoken about skin, Dr. R.B. Barn did an experiment where it was said that when a mother takes a baby very close to her breast, both the baby and the mother get great joy. And this helps the baby to grow better. And that is why breastfeeding is so vital, not only for physiological growth and development, but even emotional growth and development. And that's one of the reasons that doctors today recommend that you breastfeed your child. You know, there was a time when doctors used to say, it's okay, you can give the bottle. But now doctors have realized that breastfeeding is so vital for the baby's growth and for the mother's growth also, right? For the mother's attachment to get formed with the baby. So now let us see strokes, verbal and non-verbal strokes. So what are the non-verbal strokes? Can anybody tell me what are the non-verbal strokes? So touch.
Seeing.
Touch.
Then
Hug.
Kiss.
Touch.
Hug. Kiss.
Pat.
Pat.
Gesture. Eye gesture.
Very good. Eye gestures. Yes, when you catch somebody's eye. That's right. Then nodding. Smiling.
Smiling when.
Nodding. You know, when you nod in agreement with somebody.
Massaging.
Sorry?
Massaging. Giving a massage on the shoulder.
Yes.
Or
Yes,
back.
absolutely right. So now look at all these and many, many more. The massages. What else? Sitting just next to the person. Just sitting next to the person. That itself means I'm attending to you. Sleeping next to the person. You know, like when mummies, when they're tired in the afternoon, they rest and they will tell the child, come and sleep next to me. And the child like goes inside, you know, the mummy's arms and, you know, just sleeps next to the parent, right? Even that is such an important gesture that the parent can be doing, right? Sleeping on the parent. You know, children, small babies, they come and sleep on the parent and they love so much that they actually go to sleep, right? Stroking, just moving your hand on the back of the baby is so soothing for the baby. Even patting on the back. I remember like mummy, you know, patting me on my back like this when I used to do that to my little one. So it just puts you to sleep. It just makes you feel, you know, wanted, right? Wanted in a positive way. And then there is verbal. What are the verbal stroking? Can anybody tell me? All the words that you use for verbal stroking.
Very good, nice.
Complimenting. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. Yeah. So lots
Wow.
of them.
Appreciation.
Yeah, an appreciative word.
Yeah,
Wow,
beautiful.
super, awesome, fantastic, good girl, and many, many, many more. What is your verbal stroke that you generally give people? Anybody can tell me? Or put it up in the chat. All the verbal strokes that you give people. What's your favorite word? Is it awesome, super, fantastic, good, very nice,
Beautiful.
beautiful? Yeah, so many
Wonderful.
wonderful, so many wonderful, wonderful words we say, na? So nice. Mary Jaan, Ratna says. No, Ratna says amazing. Sorry, I don't know who's Kushbu. Mary Jaan. Great, well done. Girls, priceless. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful, amazing. You look beautiful. Yeah, wow, wow, lovely. Priceless. Wow. Fantastic. Yeah. So many shabash. Yeah. So many beautiful, appreciative words, vocabulary we have, and we should be using all of them. Okay. And then, did you know how important touch is? This very interesting experiment that was done on candid camera. Some money was left in a phone booth on purpose. And then, of course, the theft was actually reported. And then the person identified through they got hold of many people who had gone inside the phone booth, and they were kind of lined up. And those who were touched later, when asked, admitted to the theft, while those who were not touched pocketed it. So this is a very interesting experiment that was done on touch. That when they were touched, they actually said yes, they had stolen. And
Ma'am, can I share something very interesting?
Yes, Neelam, please.
So I used to work with slum kids in a school. So I used to say all the kids in the classroom would just hurdle on top of each other, always stuck. Whereas in the normal school, you don't see children touching each other as much, and they will stay on a little distance. So I would always wonder, why is this? So later I realized that they didn't get that touch from the family. That is why they wanted to touch each other and get that warmth. And also, when volunteers came, teachers came, they would want to sit in their lap, they would feel their skin, they would touch their face, eyes, everything, which was very unusual because we don't see normal children doing those things.
Yeah, because in schools there is all good touch, bad touch, which is taught, right?
Yes.
So children are more wary about touch, but in slum kids, they are rough play, and all that is so common for them, because
And it was very, like, all the examples you gave were very visible within the children, how they were treated at home. If they were treated violently, they would be very violent at school.
Yes.
And you could actually, all the categories could be identified in the children. And literally, they were coming like flashes when you're talking about it.
Absolutely right. So touch, stroking is such an important thing. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Neelam. So handshake is the commonest stroke that we give each other in a business organization. Have you ever felt a handshake speaking more than words? Anybody can share if they ever felt a handshake speaking more than words.
Ma'am, in an office scenario, generally, if you're confident, you shake it in a more firmer way. Or
have you ever? I mean, people who are in the IT world, have you ever felt like the handshake led to a friendship? Like you felt comfortable in the handshake, and so you would, maybe want to be friends with that person. Ever anything like that has ever happened? Just a handshake makes you feel uncomfortable, maybe, and then you say, nah, this person, like sweaty hands, slimy hands. Yeah, Shweta?
Yes, a lot of time. I mean, it's a very quick or first
point of contact.
Yeah. And sometimes I know if I've shake hand with someone, then I'm not going to shake hand with this person ever again.
Right.
So
So
that has happened a lot of time.
yeah, that could have happened. Yes. So a handshake is really the commonest way in which business organizations, business people work. So that's an interesting point of contact. And this is a very interesting thing about strokes. So you have verbal strokes to plants. You know, it's not only with human beings, even plants respond to strokes. Can you hear everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. They do. So I talk to my plants daily in the morning when I have my cup of tea. So I talk to them. Okay, you're growing fine. You'll do better. You'll grow into a big, huge tree. Things like that.
Nobody likes you. No one notices when you're in the room.
You're a mistake.
You're useless. You're not even green.
You look rotten. Are you really even alive?
I like you the way you are. Seeing you blossom makes me happy.
You're making a difference in the world.
You are beautiful.
I brought them here to see the plant. I was like, a plant is getting bullied. Like, it's not normal.
I think it's an excellent project. To have something tangible that they can actually physically be a part of is, I think, going to be very powerful.
As the weeks passed, I started noticing that the one that was being bullied started kind of to droop.
While the plant that was being complimented, it was flourishing and beautiful.
It's raised the profile massively of different forms of bullying and the effects that bullying can have on people.
If it affects a plant, it can definitely affect other people.
So yeah, that's interesting how verbal stroking, positive or negative, can also affect plants. And even food grains. This is one of the kids from the school where I'm attached. And this young girl had an autoimmune problem. And she was going through a difficult time with her parents. And we did this experiment with her to make her understand how words can impact food, because she had to eat certain kinds of food.
These are 2 jars which had boiled rice. One I have written hate on the top and one I have written love on the top. To the love one, I used to tell all the good things like you're very nice, you should preserve yourself, you're very good, like that. And to the hate one, I used to say you should die, you are useless, all those negative things. So within 3 days, the love rice remained as it is, but the hate rice became whitish yellow and had all liquids in it. And in 3 weeks now, the hate rice is something. It's all green with fungus all around, and love rice is still as it is. So as you can see, hate and love. So we get to know what power every word has. So while we are eating food, so when we think of good things, the food will benefit that much. If we think on negative things, bad things, so it will not benefit, but we may become sick and be unhealthy. So we get to know that the thoughts or the words that we think or get to hear, that is how it affects us. Like that only, even if you say bad things to a person, negative things to a person, that person may become sad or angry, which has a negative feeling in it. And if you say loving and good things to that person becomes happy and creates more of an affectionate feeling to you.
So you can see how children, if we do such experiments with children, they will learn, how verbal stroking, positive verbal stroking can have an impact not only on people, but even on food, plants. So this is a very interesting.
Can I share something?
Yes, Dominic, please.
The experiment of this Japanese called Emoto or something like that, water.
Masaru Emoto.
Masaru.
Yeah. So I bless my
water.
water, and I give always the intention and I say mantras, etc. And whatever intention I need for the day, etc. And it works.
Yes, absolutely right. So Masaru Emoto's wonderful experiment on water is a fantastic experiment. And yeah, so even water. So it's water, food, plants, animals, right? Everybody wants verbal stroking, positive, verbal, non-verbal stroking. Okay, now let's move ahead to understanding more on strokes. So what are the types of strokes? So we have verbal strokes, non-verbal strokes, touch strokes. We also have unconditional and conditional stroking, right? So what is unconditional? Where you stroke the actual presence of the person, not what the person is doing. And conditional stroking will be more to do with doing. Somebody has done something, you stroke that person. So positive stroke compliments, unconditional would be, I love you, I like you, you're wonderful. It's not because you did something to me that you're wonderful. It's not because you love me, so I'm saying I love you. Just unconditionally complimenting somebody in a positive way for how the person is becomes an unconditional positive stroke. In the same way, I could be giving an unconditional negative stroke. I hate you. And the person says, why the hell do you hate me? And you say, I don't know the reason, but I just dislike you. There is no reason given, not that he's behaving in a certain manner or the person is doing something, so I hate. No. There are some people who just have blanket statements like, I dislike you, you're an idiot. And when the person turns around and says, why did you tell me I'm an idiot? I have no answer. Indicating I have not observed a person's behavior to say he's an idiot or he is behaving in an idiotic manner, but I'm just negatively stroking the being of that person. That's the reason we tell parents, when a child is behaving badly, say your behavior, not you, but your behavior was not appropriate or not good. You are a good boy, but your behavior is not good. So change your behavior. You are wonderful. I love you. But this behavior is not appropriate. So the child or the adult understands that he is loved, but his behavior is not. So he can change his behavior. I mean, he can't change himself, right? The way he is. And this is where shame comes in, where a lot of children in school and adults are shamed for their body weight or body size or the color of their skin. There is no reason given because there is no reason. So you just don't like that person because he's dark-skinned or fair-skinned or whatever, right? It's an unconditional negative stroke that's being given, of which the person cannot do anything. Similarly, there is conditional stroking, which is quite common. You like somebody's smile or you like somebody's coat or dress or fashion style or whatever it is. So you're conditionally stroking this person in a positive manner. You can also conditionally stroke the person in a negative manner and say, I don't like you when you are sarcastic, or I don't like you smoking. And the person knows, oh, the act of smoking is what this person doesn't like, but she loves me or he loves me. This is quite simple to understand, right? Unconditional positive stroking, unconditional negative stroking, and conditional positive and conditional negative stroking. This is a beautiful little video which one of the students in my TA class sent me. And I thought it was the most beautiful video for unconditional positive strokes. The father is returned back after 6 months. The father works in the army. The baby hasn't seen the father for a long, long, long time. Can you see the hug?
She cried.
Yeah.
Oh
Can
my
you see
God.
the hug? Just feel the hug. Can you see how long the father is hugging the child? Just watch, it's so cute. Can you see the word seeing? This is what I meant by seeing.
Just looking at each other.
The father is reciprocating, which is so beautiful. Can you see the pacing happening? Father is nodding, she's nodding.
She's loved.
Mother is taking the video. You see how locking her eyes with the father.
Shayu? Who is this? Who is come? Who's Papa? Huh? Who's Papa? Give a Kichu. Give Kichu to Papa. Ah. You also give Kichu to Papa.
Can you
my
see how
God, she's not
important the
leaving.
father is? I think we don't give enough importance to the love that a father can have and father can express. The little monkey, she's stuck to the father. This is a beautiful video of completely unconditional stroking from both the child and the father. And this is what I meant when I said seeing, not looking. You can see this, such a beautiful, okay? So now we've understood, and now let's move to other kind of stroking that we have. So there are plastic strokes. What are plastic strokes? Anybody can tell me? Plastic strokes.
You don't mean what you do.
Superficial.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. You don't mean it, but you just stroke somebody. And do you think you can make out if a stroke is plastic?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No emoji.
you can easily make out that this person was just saying, faking it. Actually, she didn't mean it. So every human being knows what is a plastic stroke, okay? So you be careful whether you're giving plastic strokes to others. Yeah, don't give plastic strokes, okay? Make them conditional, doesn't matter, but please don't give plastic strokes to others. If you don't mean it, please don't give strokes. Now, counterfeit strokes. Counterfeit strokes are, like I said, you say something positive and then you say something counter to it. So I tell somebody, wow, this red dress looks so good on you. But you know, if the color had been green, it would have looked better. So what did I do? I gave a stroke, a positive stroke, but I countered it by saying something. So it ceased to be positive, actually. Right? And the opposite person will say, what is this? Yeah, you always say things like this. And you say, I too appreciated you. No, you did not. Instead, you actually did not appreciate me at all. Anybody can give me examples of counterfeit strokes?
It seems like my sister has always done this. So if I buy something and I will show it to her, she'll be like, yeah, this is nice, but I would not buy something like this.
Absolutely. That's a counterfeit stroke. Actually putting you down, putting your choice down. That's a typical counterfeit stroke. Yeah. Anybody else? So Ranika, as you have shared, thank you for sharing. What has that done to your relationship with her?
I was actually very close to her, ma'am, when I was growing up. She's 9 years older to me, and I'm extremely still close to her. And she kind of replaced my mother, so that's how I'm not so close to my mother. But then in between, I think when I was in my 20s and 30s is when I started seeing this pattern, and it would make me feel bad and stuff like that. Now I kind of find it very funny when I do this, and in fact I keep teasing her back, that this is what you do. And so it doesn't affect me anymore now.
Yeah, it doesn't affect you anymore now. But in that 20 to 30, which is a crucial stage of identity formation, that's when you could feel a little like, why is she not able to, appreciate my choice? Yeah, absolutely right. Thank you, Ranika. Anyone else would like to speak about counterfeit?
Yeah. My husband generally says, "Sabji बहुत अच्छी है, लेकिन वो पहले वाला कुछ taste नहीं है."
Yes, that's again a counterfeit stroke. Yes, Subhi. Yeah. So you need to. I mean, you're all older now, but it's a good idea to, like Ranika said, develop a sense of humor with these things. Yeah, Urvi.
So, sometimes, is it not even an authentic expression or honest expression? Like, how do we differentiate between the two? Like, you show somebody something, and that somebody has the other choice, and then they say, yeah, it is good, but for me, it would have been something different.
But if this is a repetitive behavior,
okay.
If it is once in a while, it's okay. But if this is the strategy of this person, it's an unconscious strategy. The person is not maybe wanting to put you down also. Okay, the person is also unaware that this is actually the effect of what the person is saying. But if this is a strategy, and then if you start noticing this person doing it to others also, then obviously there is an ego that's coming in the picture. Right? Like Ranika shared, right? I would not buy this. That means I am okay and you are not okay. Remember in TA, the first class that I took? I'm okay, you're not okay. So this person who's continuously giving counterfeit strokes is actually making you feel he's okay, you're not okay.
Right.
So then that doesn't help. Any relationship where there is a disbalance of okayness, the kind of transaction you will have is going to suffer. It cannot be an unconditional transaction. Okay, got it, Urvi? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. So, yes, please go on.
Like Urvi was saying that, sometimes it can just be another person
honest.
just, being honest about their own choice. But here also, even if it's not a repetitive behavior, when somebody is showing you something, for example, something is bought or they've achieved something and they're fishing for a stroke. So that is, they are looking for an acknowledgement. Right?
Absolutely.
And if we try to counter that, even if it is once, aren't we just making the whole issue about ourselves and not whereas we should be giving the other person attention?
Anybody who does this is actually putting himself in a superior position. I am okay and you are not okay. And secondly, what Urvi said about being honest. Honesty should not hurt anybody. You can be honest, but honesty cannot hurt anyone. No? That means you're not being empathetic or sensitive towards that person. So people who tell me this, oh, I'm just trying to be honest. No, you're not trying to be honest. You're actually trying to hurt by showing that look how I am and look how you are. Every time when somebody has a transaction, just know one thing. In that transaction, the statement or the thought has to be, I'm okay and you're okay. Thought cannot be, I'm okay and you're not okay. Thought cannot be, I'm okay, you are okay, they are not okay. Okay, I'm just taking you one step further. So there is, I'm okay, you are okay. Sometimes it is, I'm okay, you are okay, they are not okay. They mean others. That also will lead to an inappropriate transaction, a cross transaction. So I'm fine, you're fine, they are not fine. So somewhere or the other, the transaction is going to become crossed in time to come. Moment you say they means there is exclusion. We will be speaking in some few classes later on exclusion and inclusion. So you'll understand. So if I have to say this, I'm okay, you're okay, they are not okay, does that happen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Correct. And then what is going to happen when they are not okay? So there is groupism, right? I and my friend and the others are excluded. That person who is excluded at some point or the other will create problems for you. किसी को जब आप resist करते हैं, दूर करते हैं अपने से, someday or the other, maybe not today, maybe a week later, month later, year later, many years later, such a person will arrive in your life. Same person may not come, but a similar person will come in your life. Because at the highest realm, there has to be an inclusion. Everybody must be included.
Can I ask one question?
Anji.
When I went on a vacation a few 3-4 days ago with a group of people, a new couple joined in our group. So everything was fine, but the male person, he had a habit of using abusive language in every second sentence. So when I came back, my son asked, how was your trip? So I said it was nice, and they were also nice, but I did not like that person used abusive language in every second sentence. So is that it's saying I am okay and you are okay, but he is not okay?
Not he is not okay. He could be an okay person having this habit of using abusive language. So you can stroke him conditionally. You can say he must be a good man, but his behavior or his way of talking is something I don't approve.
That is what I said.
I'm not crossing the person. I'm crossing the behavior of that person. So this we have to be a little careful about when we think and then speak.
So ma'am, what happened? My son became angry that I don't want to listen to you. You are judging like this person. I said, no, I'm not judging this person. I'm just saying this behavior I didn't like.
Right.
I said to him, but he stayed angry and he became very angry. He said, I don't want to listen to this anymore. So
now, Ambika, beta, you have to think, reflect, sit and reflect as to, is this happening frequently where your son gets upset about your, whatever, sharing?
Yes, ma'am, it's happening frequently.
So you'll have to look at your gestures, your postures, your words, the tone of your voice, your facial expressions. You may be saying something, but it could be indicating to him something else.
Okay.
अगर ये repeatedly हो रहा है, repeatedly, then there is some signal that you are giving which you are unaware of.
Yes, ma'am, because his reaction was very like unpredictable for me, and it came as a shock to me. Like what you are saying must be right because I know because of his reaction.
So you will need to be a little aware of your maybe facial expressions when you are saying this, because maybe you're showing anger, or you're showing a disappointment, irritation.
Disgust.
Something is being registered on your face which he is seeing, but you are not seeing.
Okay.
So your
Okay, ma'am.
words are not in sync with your facial expressions.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
And this could be
Thank you so much.
happening many times. If this is happening more than once, then it is possible that you need to be more aware of how you are saying it. Maybe your tone
Okay, ma'am.
shows some kind of irritation.
Disgustful expression, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your son is a very sensitive person. So he's picking all these non-verbal signals.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So verbally you're saying something, but non-verbally you're communicating something else.
Okay.
So he is sensitive to non-verbal signals. So your son requires non-verbal strokes.
Okay.
If you tell your son, wonderful, fantastic, super, it doesn't mean anything to him. But
that's correct.
But non-verbal stroking is where your son feels approved and appreciated. So you have to think, are you giving your son non-verbal strokes? A pat on his back, a hug, maybe a thumbs up, or high five? What are you giving non-verbally? He's a non-verbal, that is his preference.
Okay, ma'am. That is a revelation to me.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Mom, I want to give some feedback with a photo that I sent my mother, and she replies, "What a beautiful photo! What a beautiful souvenir!"
Wow. See how simple it is. Just send something positive. So her mind shifts from here to here. That's all we need to do. Right? So keep doing this, Dominic. We want her to shift, right? So feed her what she can digest.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you need to do.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dominic, for sharing. Yes, anyone
Ma'am,
else
I
wants
would like
to say something?
I would like to share about this honesty what you were
Yes,
talking, ma'am.
Maya.
One of the friends had invited us, like her sister-in-law's son's marriage was there. And my husband I told, okay, we'll just see whether we can come down or not. I give that answer. Then my friend said, okay, give to your husband. I'll invite him because he's your husband. So let me give a personal invitation. So my husband said, to be very honest, I don't know your sister-in-law, nor the kids. So I won't be coming, but I give, like Maya can come if she wants to come. So being honest was okay, but she felt offended. He would have, said, she's telling me, he would have just said, "Ki bhai, I cannot make up, I'm not coming." There was no need to be honest. So this is what had happened, Kim, when you are honest, but you should know how to put it up.
Being honest is something else. This is like maybe he wanted to say something else, and he said it like this.
Yes.
That is why we say, now pick your words correctly.
Yes.
You cannot hurt somebody. Honesty is not about hurting anybody. And what do you mean by being honest? What do you mean by being honest? Honesty
There's nothing like to be honest in this. Yes, there was nothing like being honest in this. You could have just said, I cannot make up, I have a meeting or something, and just, closed a chapter over there.
That would have been honest. That I can't come or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Sometimes it's okay to lie because you don't want to hurt the opposite person, right?
Exactly.
Like you don't like somebody doesn't mean you have to be honest and say, I don't like you. That's a ridiculous thing to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There was somebody in the chat who has mentioned something in the chat. Ma'am, why doesn't some people like touch strokes? Yeah. There are some people who don't like touch strokes. They don't like being touched. That goes back to their childhood, Nitya. Like we saw all these experiments, right? So if this person was like not touched enough when the child was a baby or growing up, she has no idea what touch strokes can do. So that is why she will cringe. You know, people tend to cringe.
Yeah.
Don't touch. They'll say no. Yeah. So it
I'm
goes
okay if
back
it
to
is
your
my
child.
daughter, if it is my husband, anybody else touches me, I just get cringe. Why do you have to touch me? We even just talk.
Yeah, there are people who don't appreciate touch strokes.
Yeah.
So we don't give it to them. Give them strokes where they feel recognized and attended to.
Yes.
Okay? And maybe in time to come, they will find a partner with whom they'll be comfortable stroking. Yeah. So don't say that they will never be touched appropriately. Maybe they will find a partner tomorrow, or they will get into a hobby or some sport where there is contact sports. You know, such people, they may not like human touch, but they may like touch with animals or plants or sports for that matter. That's how contact is made. So in basketball or wrestling or boxing, or these contacts, like wrestling is a contact sport basically. There'll be contact, right? So think of some sports where there is contact. I can't think of something. Like you can also have strokes with objects. Like such people will be very fond of their phones. They will not allow their phones to go out of their sight. Yeah, contact something. So initially they may get a touch with objects, and then slowly with animals, pets, nature. You know, these are also strokes. Okay, internal strokes and external strokes. That slide is not there. But there can be internal stroking and external stroking. What is external stroking? That comes from the outside world. So if you sit under a tree, you feel good, right? The tree is not doing anything to you. It's not stroking you. Just by sitting under the tree, you feel better. Or the wind blowing. Or nature, just going out to a hill station, seeing mountains and hills and rivers and waterfalls and green grass and meadows, you suddenly feel calm. Yeah, you suddenly feel your thoughts are changing from being depressed to being happy. That's called external stroking, when nature strokes you. Okay, that's called. And then there is internal stroking, where you've had a good meal and you feel good. That's called internal stroking, where your physical body strokes you internally. Like you see something and your heart skips a beat and you feel happy. That's internal stroking. Your heart skipped a beat and you feel happy, right? Or there is a day when there is no pain in your body and you're lying down and you feel, wow. So your body is stroking you. Yeah, you're becoming aware that, my body's feeling. Or after a good night's sleep. It's an internal stroke. When your physical body strokes you internally, that is an internal stroke. And when nature or the outside world strokes you, not people, the outside world strokes you, that becomes an external stroke. Okay? So now you have verbal stroking, non-verbal stroking, touch stroke, conditional stroke, unconditional stroke, negative, positive, of course, internal stroke, external stroke, plastic stroke, counterfeit stroke. And then there is what we call self-stroking. When you stroke yourself. When you look in the mirror and say, wow, it's going to be a super day, or something like that. Or you dress up, and you say, wow, kaun si earrings pehnu main. Self-stroking. Yeah. So self-stroking is most important, because how long can you depend on others to stroke you? Yeah, they'll stroke today, maybe they won't stroke tomorrow, and then you say, what the hell? So learn to stroke yourself, right? There comes a time in life when you have to stroke yourself. Maybe every day, or maybe never. So you start stroking yourself every day, and then there'll come a time when you really don't need to stroke yourself. Yeah, because you feel, I'm okay, you're okay, they are okay. So eventually you have to come to this understanding in TA, where everybody is okay. They're all living their life the way they are designed to live their life. So focus on yourself and self-stroke yourself. That helps you the most. Okay? Understanding, everybody? All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
So
Yes,
this is
ma'am.
our session.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I feel this many times that uh I really need this touch stroke. I mean, I really need that. And then this touch has to be a very warm touch, which can be a non-verbal or a verbal. Usually
Touch.
non-verbal.
You want
Non-verbal.
touch,
I want
verbal
touch.
touch, positive. What do you want?
I want touch. I want to be looked at. I want to be
Seen.
asked.
You want to be seen.
I
Yeah.
want to be seen. I want to be hugged. I want to be hugged, not touched. I want to be hugged. I want to be made feel that, okay, I'm there. No, I mean, you look at somebody and you say, okay, how are you? Or not even okay, how are you? Just look at someone. And you, I think this kind of touch, and I know that it's coming from my childhood. Probably I needed more of it, and probably I was in need and I was not given whatever. Now, how do we deal with this? I mean, it's sometimes a craving. I mean, I have to do it myself to myself, but it's not satisfactory all the time.
True. Yeah.
And I have been having this question for a very long time कि इसका इलाज क्या हो सकता है? My partner is not this. I mean, it doesn't understand all these things.
But your partner
So where do we go?
be hugged. Can your partner be hugged?
हाँ, मतलब if I do that, that's okay for him. But वो हमको क्रेविंग होता है ना, वो थर्स्ट लगती है तो प्यास नहीं बुझती है.
करेक्ट. हंगर, तभी तो हंगर वर्ड यूज किया है ना. स्टिम्युलस हंगर यूज किया है, राइट? बिकॉज यू आर राइट, प्यास लगती है तो क्या करें, इंसान को पानी तो पीना चाहिए, है ना? तो one thing is that if you have a partner in your life, your husband or whoever else, then you need to go and tell the partner to put pressure. Means when they hug you, they put pressure. What you are missing, darling, is pressure. Okay, you want, like you said, no, hug, not touch, but hug. So that means you need pressure. Your what should I say? Your kind of proprioceptors, okay, on your skin need to be pressed for you to feel the hug also. सिर्फ ऐसे करने से तुझे hug feel नहीं होगा. आपको somebody has to come and, like how that little baby was touched and hugged for a long period of time, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, right? So that's what you need. And that's why you said childhood. Because when you're a small child, children, they come and stick to you. And they don't let you go, right? Whether you want them to stick or not, they'll keep sticking to you. That's what you are missing. That's what you need. Now what to do, right? So what you need to do is, with your husband, just hug him and tell him to stay like that for 1 minute, pressing you. Use him as a doctor, not as your husband. He's your doctor, darling. He's not your husband, okay? So you need to let him know that I need this at least once a day. Okay, because you need this. You need somebody to hold you, not hug you. So difference
Okay.
in all this. That will help you actually. And the other thing is that maybe you should go for some massages.
Yeah, massages, so I do.
You have to go for massages and back hair. And I mean, if the massage lady is a, older, nice lady, you can tell the lady, can you please hug me for 1 minute before you massage me? Why not? Sometimes you have to take help from outside. So you can do this, and it will be a good thing for you to do it actually. Yes, Ranik.
Does this and if this is an inner child wounding, which is in my case is for sure it has happened.
Yes.
Is there an ilage to this? I mean, will this be an external need all the time? Or?
So when your proprioceptors, there'll come a time when your proprioceptors will feel touched enough. There'll come a time when you will feel good. That feel good factor will come inside your body. Now, can you imagine how many years of starvation?
I feel entire childhood. I mean, I have not received it.
So, how many years of receiving? There'll be some time, no, Baba? So go ahead, no, Baba. Massage is a good thing. Go to a massage lady with whom you regularly go, and you can share with this, and then she will just. This is important. What about your mom, Urvi?
So my mom has, she has been a very emotionally absent mom for all of us, for all four of us. And she was always a very anxious person and always frustrated and, always frustrated. Very religious, but religious in the way where she was very conflicted. So she was not able to enjoy samsara, but she did not even live samsara, so she was always frustrated. And plus, a problem with both of them, like Papa and Mummy. So lot of issues between both of them. And yeah, she's there. Papa is not there, but she's there.
Is she different now than before?
Very much different. I mean, right nowadays, so she wants us to mother her. I mean, we understand her because me being a doctor and knowing all these things, but somewhere I know that I don't have a mother.
Nitu, can you make her the mother that you wanted?
I don't know,
That means, Urvi, when you visit her, okay, I want you to sit next to her and ask her to hold you. She needs it. Not only you, Urvi, she also needs it, right? So you ask her to hold you, or you can sit down and put your head on her lap. So she can hold you. No, you need to do this now to her. She doesn't know how to give you that touch, but she also could be deprived of it. So maybe she doesn't know how to do it, right? So now you will have to do this, Urvi, as she's around.
So what is happening is that she loves that hug because I think she's never been received that. So when we go, she just hugs me. We just hug her. But what is happening is that, as you are rightly saying, that I have to be on her lap. It's like because her height is smaller than mine. When we hug, it's more like she's over here and I am over here.
Right.
You know what is happening?
Sit and hug.
So I want to be like this.
So Urvi, you sit a little lower and then hug. So she will be here and your head will come to her shoulders. Okay. So ये तुम्हें करना है, Urvi. I don't want you to feel that I have not got it. You can still get it. And then hold, because now she likes to be hugged. Wonderful. Okay. So now is the chance. Okay. For her also to heal and for you also to heal. So sit with her and you say, Mummy, can you hold me a little tighter? Mama, little more tighter. You will know how much of pressure is needed for you. And with your mother, it will be so good because you can share with her. Na? So Urvi, karke, I need to know whenever you visit her. When are you going to visit her?
I will.
Good. So visit her. Okay? And do this better. हर वक्त को, and And then har waqt tu jayegi to ye karegi. She will like it. She will really like it. Okay? Do that. Yes.
Can I say something about what
Yes,
Urvi is saying?
Huh.
I usually, when my patients are in this kind of a situation, I usually tell them to start swimming. And if they don't know swimming, to at least go and spend time in the water.
Yeah.
Because the movement of the water really helps them release any somatic emotions.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Ranika. That's
Been
very
very
good.
successful with their patients.
Wonderful. So swimming is a great idea. Yeah.
Ma'am, also a pet, maybe a pet.
A pet. A pet, yeah, but maybe Urvi doesn't want to keep a pet. Yeah. See, all this can be done, but human touch is human touch. You know, human touch helps to heal at a different level, and this can help you to experience relief. Yeah, relief is one thing, and to relieve is another thing. So sure, they can experience relief, but will they be relieved? I think what Urvi is looking at is relieving this. She doesn't want this any longer, right? It's been so many years. So I think that is something that we need to appreciate also. Okay, so Subi, want to say something?
Yeah, earlier I couldn't share, so I had to undergo a gynec procedure. I went to this gynecologist who's a man. So now, I mean, that time I didn't recall when we were speaking. So whenever I went inside and he had to do internal checkup, he'll come by my side and held me by my elbow. And he'll speak to me before doing any, checkup. So that was really very reassuring, a person of my age, So a doctor, I mean, he could have just done it as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But this doctor had a habit of, speaking to me, touching my elbow and reassuring before doing anything.
Beautiful, Subi. Elbow. See, elbow is the anchoring point for her, right? Where she feels warmth or cared for. So that's very nice, Subi. Thank you for
And
sharing.
secondly, there are days like just go and to the bathroom and see myself in the mirror. It's not that I am dressed or something. I smile back at my
self
image in the mirror. And that's such a, I mean, I just like that, I smile back.
Nice.
And it's such a nice feeling to look at the mirror and smile back.
That's called self-stroking.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm dressed up or decked up, but I love what I see in the mirror. There are days. The person I am.
Lovely. The person that you are. An unconditional, positive self-stroke is being given by you to you. Very nice, Subi. Excellent. Yeah, Tripti, want to say something?
So I want to share this that I come from a family I never saw. I mean, I always saw my parents very loving to each other, like very beautiful couple, but never saw my mom or my dad complimenting each other. So when I came here, every time my husband will get a haircut, he will come home and he will just walk around and everything. And then I think that he was waiting for me to tell him, oh, you got a haircut? It looks good, nice or whatever. But then eventually he will say, so I got a haircut. And I'm like, oh, okay. Does it look nice? He will always ask me. And I will say, yeah, I mean, it's a haircut. I don't know. And I have done this for years. And I don't know if I don't know how to say it or give a recognition or give a stroke like what he's asking for. Also, every time he will, if we're going somewhere, once we get in the car, he will say, you look pretty. And I will never say anything back to him. And then in 5 minutes, he will say, how do I look? So eventually I realized, okay, I think I should say it too. Still, it doesn't come to my mind first. He always say it first. And then I'd be like, oh, you look good too. I have started it, but it took me many years to learn this because I had never seen it. Also, what Urvi was just sharing, I had a question that can you fill these gaps that when we realize the gaps the that we were not touched, or we didn't touch our children the way we were, supposed to stroke. Can we fill them as we realize them?
You can definitely do it. You can
So
definitely
it's never,
start doing it,
never
like
too
with
late.
your
Start
husband.
today.
Yeah, with
Yes.
your husband, that before he compliments you, you start complimenting him. See, what is happening is he's complimenting you and then you compliment him. So he's not feeling, like, oh, she's just saying it because I said this to her. But if you become a little bit more aware that this is his need, now you know that already, right? So now if you just notice him more, and before he says something, you tell him, he will feel so much more better. And the kind of intimacy that you will have then would be very different than the intimacy you have now. Same goes with your children or anybody for that matter. Now that you've understood that touch stroke is vital for development and growth, I mean, just do it. That's all. And I know initially you may feel uncomfortable, okay, because it's not part of your nature or part of who you are, let's say. But just start doing it. Maybe you'll actually enjoy it. Who knows?
Or maybe I also feel like maybe my dad did compliment my mom because she always got ready every evening around 5:30. It was like part of her life, getting ready, getting presentable. And we never knew why. Maybe he did compliment her, but we didn't know.
Maybe he never complimented in front of the children.
Maybe that's what it is. That's what made her do that every single day.
See, the fact that your mother was doing this every day, she was motivated to do this every day, must be your father maybe saw her in a different, I mean, there are like, maybe he saw her in a particular way, maybe he touched her in a particular way, maybe he held her. We don't know. All this doesn't happen outside, right? It happens inside the four walls of the bedroom. So how the hell do children know what's happening inside the bedroom? Because us zamane mein to, parents never kissed outside in front of the children, right? I mean, all this is happening now. So at that time, so it was all, different, right? So, yeah.
So does this mean that as parents, we should show a little bit too in order to teach
showing
just
affection?
enough?
As parents, we must show affection to each other in front of our children. I mean, we don't need to kiss long, but we definitely can kiss each other on their cheeks or hold each other or hold hands, if nothing else. Yeah, children need to see this. They need to see that, oh, see, what is happening is, look at the kind of OTT movies that children are watching. There's so much of intimate scenes that are shown, right? So how do children relate to that? Because they are not seeing it in their homes as parents holding hands or walking together or, sitting next to each other or feeding each other for that matter. Little gestures, small, not every day, but once in a while, some gestures can be shown.
Okay.
पुराने जमाने में पुराने जमाने फिल्मों में भी था, but पुराने जमाने में if the बहुत पहले की बात है, where the husband used to eat and then the wife would eat in the same plate.
Yes.
Okay. And we would say like, what nonsense, why would I eat in my husband's jhuthi plate? But maybe that was the way of showing love. I mean, I'm just thinking now, what were all these gestures? They must mean something. They can't be just something that you do. There has to be some meaning to these little gestures. I remember jab main choti thi, and I remember this movie that my parents and me and my sister had gone to see, Goldfinger, James Bond. Okay, रात का शो था, मुझे याद है, इन कीनिया, Mombasa, where we used to live. So शाम को हम ये फिल्म देखने गए, and in that Goldfinger, I still remember it. I must have been about 4 years old. Okay, I still remember this movie, and there was a scene of Sean Connery and that woman going in the pool naked. I think it was Goldfinger. And my mother was sitting next to me. And, she put her hands in front of the eyes of both my sister and me. And I'm not supposed to see. But I still remember the scene, though she put her hand in front of my eyes. I know that this was the scene that was going on. I didn't see the movie again. I saw it only at that time, right? But I knew there was something going on. And I could sense that, through the fingers that she put also, that those two people were naked in that pool. And then I said, Mama, what do you do? And I said, I was small, so I just said, put her hand away. And she said, nee, ye sab nahi dekhna. Baba, you don't have to see all this. But then the film was an English movie, and you people took me to cuss for this English movie. And now you're expecting us not to see anything. I don't remember any other scene in that movie except this one.
But that.
But that. Because she resisted it. So I remember this scene. Otherwise, I don't remember anything of that movie. So what I'm saying is, intimacy, intimate scenes are like that. It leaves an impact if somebody resists also, right? So it's a
Ma'am,
great.
I have something to tell you about. My father had a stack. I was small, and my father had a stack of Playboys. The magazine, and then he said to me, "You are not to look those magazines." Of course, I went to look at them afterwards.
Absolutely, yeah. When they say no, then you want to see more. That's all as simple as that. And then you must have realized that, oh my God, my dad's looking at all these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay. Good for him. Right? Yeah. So it's a need after all, right? It's a basic need of human beings to want to see to want to touch other human beings. And when that does not happen, I think that's the reason porn has come into this world. Because it's not happening, right? Physical touching is reducing, so people are watching it and touching themselves, for heaven's sake.
Ma'am, I want to share something.
Anji, Neelam.
So, in the school, what I realized, because those kids were not touched when they were babies, at age of 12 and 13, they would get into physical relations. And so many times the girls would just get pregnant like at age of 15 because they thought that is what is love. And the boy would just disappear because they are still they are still kids. Yeah.
Trying to experiment.
Yes. And even with learning about good touch, bad touch, still they would get into because that hunger was there for a touch.
Yes. See, the basic reason here is that when a child is very small at the age of 2.5, or even younger for that matter, they tend to play with their sexual organ. Yeah, they tend to touch, especially boys tend to touch their penis. Girls also tend to put their hands down below. And parents tend to say, ye mat karo, ye buri baat hai. So their organ is a bad thing, not to touch there. But then what happens is that as they grow older, they realize that, it's giving them pleasure. So much of conflicting messages going to children. And you're right, the rise of teen pregnancies is phenomenal. Phenomenal. When I was working in Dharavi many years ago, of course, and I remember, when we used to go to Dharavi slums, though we needed to wear like a cotton sari and no ornaments, and our hair used to be in a bun because, we have to be like them, right? That their milieu. I remember this scene very, very vividly. I was in the slum because I had to get children who were having special needs to the center. So I had to go from house to house to see if there are any special needs children. And I remember this one girl, she must have been hardly 12 and a half, 13. She was sitting outside her little, like, what is it called? Shanty, like just a small tin house, okay? And she had a little baby in her hand. And she was just sitting there. And I said, Kya hua beta? So ये बच्चा आपका है? She said, हाँ. She could hardly speak. And, I mean, I can't forget that girl. I said, कहाँ रहती हो? Where do you stay? And she said, ऊपर. And I thought, ऊपर mane where does she stay? And she showed me that little tin house had the house was like this. Not even a house, like I don't know what to call it also.
Shed.
And then, and like a shed, very small. And then there was a ladder outside that, okay? And there was a window. So she would climb up, go inside the window and sleep there. So it was a tin thing, and then there must be a floor up or something like that. And when I peeped inside that place, you can only sit in that. You can't even sleep there. You can only sit and sleep. And I can't forget that ladder, and she has to climb up with this little baby, go through that little window, slip inside and sleep there in the night when the rain comes or something. I mean, it's the kind of deprivation that is there is phenomenal. And that's also the rise of crime. Everything is connected, is what I realized that day in that slum, that why are criminals staying in this area? Because, like Neelam rightly said, there is so much of deprivation, so much. We are in a better home, better place, better intellect. If we don't understand it, who will understand it? Right? I can't expect to. I can't explain all this to those people. It's impossible.
Our school was like a home which gave them everything, but what was done at home could never be undone at school. The damage at home is so vast that it can never be filled up.
It's very, very difficult, and especially in these kind of circumstances. It's very, very tough. So, I mean, I don't blame children who go into crime, because look at what they are born in. And that's where I'm okay, you're okay, they're okay. Only then can you help them. Otherwise, you can never help them. They are okay. Whatever we can do. Okay, so so let's remember the TA sentence of being okay. So thank you for today and for being here. So continue stroking yourself and others in a positive way.